Greetings to all. This is Anshita Virdi, student of B.Tech Biotechnology first year. Today, I am going to display a presentation on the topic production technology of onion. To give you an overview, here are the subtopics which I will be covering throughout the presentation. Scientific classification, overview, climatic conditions, soil conditions, varieties, seed rate, spacing and sowing time, planting, fertilization, intercultural operations, irrigation, harvesting, pest and control, storage, composition and uses. Scientific classification of onion: kingdom, plantae, phylum, angiosperms, class, monocots, order, aspergales, family, Amaryltaceae, genus, Allium, species, Cepa, binomial name, Allium cepa. Onion. The onion, also known as the bulb onion or common onion, is a vegetable that is the most widely cultivated species of the genus Allium. The shallot is a botanical variety of the onion. Its close relatives include the garlic, scallion, leek, chive, and Chinese onion. Some varieties of Allium cepa, such as shallots and potato onions, produce multiple bulbs. The onion plant has been grown and selectively bred in cultivation for at least 7,000 years. It is a biennial plant, but is usually grown as an annual. Modern varieties typically grow to a height of 15 to 45 cm. The leaves are yellowish to bluish green and grow alternately in a flattened fan-shaped swath. They are fleshy, hollow and cylindrical with one flattened side. The base of each leaf is a flattened, usually white sheath that grows out of the basal plate of a bulb. From the underside of the plate, a bundle of fibrous roots extend for a short way into the soil. As the onion matures, food reserves begin to accumulate in the leaf bases and the bulb of the onion swells. India is the second largest onion growing country in the world. Indian onions are famous for their pungency and are available round the year. Indian onions has two crop cycles. First harvesting starts in November to January and the second harvesting from January to May. The onion is a hardy cool season biennial but usually grown as an annual crop. The onion has narrow hollow leaves and a base which enlarges to form a bulb. The bulb can be white, yellow or red and require 80 to 150 days to reach harvest. The major onion producing states are Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand and Telangana in the country. In 2019, world's production of onions and shallots as green produce was 4.5 million tons, led by China with 22% of the world total and Japan, Mali and South Korea as secondary producers. Climatic conditions. Bulbing onions are day length sensitive. Most traditional European onions are referred to as long day onions, producing bulbs only after 14 hours or more of daylight occurs. Southern European and North African varieties are often known as intermediate day types, requiring only 12 to 13 hours of daylight to stimulate bulb formation. Short day onions, which have been developed in more recent times, are planted in mild winter areas in the autumn and form bulbs in the early spring, and require only 11 to 12 hours of daylight to stimulate bulb formation. Onions are a cool weather crop. Hot temperatures or other stressful conditions cause them to bolt, meaning that a flower stem begins to grow. Onion is a temperate crop but can be grown under a wide range of climatic conditions such as temperate, subtropical, and tropical climate. The best performance can be obtained in a mild weather without the extremes of cold and heat and excessive rainfall. However, onion plant is hardy and in the young stage can withstand freezing temperature also. In India, short day onion is grown in the plains and requires 10 to 12 hours day length. The long day onion is grown in hills requiring 13 to 14 hours day length. For vegetative growth, lower temperature combined with short period is required, whereas relatively higher temperature along with longer photoperiod is required for bulb development and maturity. The optimum temperature for vegetative phase and bulb development is 13 to 24 degrees Celsius and 16 to 25 degrees Celsius respectively. It requires about 70% relative humidity for good growth. It can grow well in places where the average annual rainfall is 650 to 750 mm with good distribution during the monsoon season. Areas with low or heavy rainfall are not particularly suitable for rain-fed crop. Soil condition. Onion can be grown in all types of soils such as sandy loam, clay loam, silt loam, and heavy soils. However, the best soil for successful onion cultivation is deep, friable loam and alluvial soils with good drainage, moisture holding capacity, and sufficient organic matter. In heavy soils, the bulbs produced may be deformed. Onion crop can be grown successfully on heavy soil with application of organic manure prior to planting, and preparation of the field for onion cultivation should be very good. The optimum pH range regardless of soil type is 6 to 7.5, but onion can also be grown in mild alkaline soils. Onion crop is more sensitive to highly acidic, alkali and saline soils and waterlogging conditions. Onions do not thrive in soils having pH below 6 because of trace element deficiencies or occasionally aluminium or manganese toxicity. Varieties of onion. First, multiplier onions, which include CO1, CO2, MDU1, Agrifound red. Second, small common onions, which include Agrifound rose, Arka bindu. Third, white onion, which include Bhima shubra, Bhima shweta, Bhima safed, etc. Fourth, Spanish brown, which include Bhima light red, Bhima kiran, Phule suvarna, Arka niketan, Arka kirthiman. Fifth, red onion, which include Bhima super, Bhima red, Bhima raj, Bhima dark red, Bhima shakti, etc. Seed rate, spacing and sowing time. Seed rate of onion is 8 to 10 kg per hectare. Sowing time is, in plains it is October to November, in hills it is March to June. Spacing. The land is plowed to a fine tilth and form ridges at 45 cm spacing. The bulbs are sown on both sides of the ridges at 10 cm apart. Planting. First, land preparation. Prior to transplanting, fields should be plowed and disked properly to eliminate debris and soil clots. Organic manures equivalent to 75 kg N per hectare, approximately FIM 15 T per hectare, or poultry manure 7.5 T per hectare or vermicompost 7.5 T per hectare should be incorporated at the time of last plowing, and beds with appropriate size should be prepared after leveling. Mostly flat beds of the size 1.5 to 2 meter width and 4 to 6 meter length is formed. However, flat bed should be avoided to prevent waterlogging during Kharif or rainy season. Waterlogging favors anthracnose disease, which is most devastating during Kharif season. Broad bed furrows of 15 cm height and 120 cm top width with 45 cm furrow are formed to achieve proper spacing and population density. It is suitable for drip and sprinkler irrigation as well. BBF is the best method for Kharif onion production because the excess water can be drained out through the furrow. This improves the aeration and helps in reducing the incidence of anthracnose disease. Transplanting. Proper care should be taken while selecting seedlings for transplanting. Over and underage seedlings should be avoided for better establishment. At the time of transplanting, 1/3 of the seedling top should be cut to get good establishment. The onion seedling should be transplanted after dipping roots in carbendazim solution for 2 hours to reduce the incidence of fungal diseases during the establishment. The optimum spacing is 15 cm between the rows and 10 cm between the plants. Fertilization. In Kharif onion, the requirement of nitrogen is 75 kg, of P2O5 is 40 kg, and of K2O is 40 kg. In late Kharif and Rabi onion, requirement of nitrogen is 110 kg, requirement of P2O5 is 40 kg, requirement of K2O is 60 kg. In long day onion, requirement of nitrogen is 180 kg, requirement of phosphorus pentoxide is 60 kg, and requirement of potassium oxide is 70 kg. Intercultural operations. Control of weeds at the initial growth stages is essential for getting high marketable bulb yield. Because of labor scarcity, chemical control of weeds along with cultural methods is inevitable. Application of oxyfluorophene before transplanting or at the time of transplanting, followed by one hand weeding at 40 to 60 days after transplanting is recommended for efficient weed control. Rotation and mixed cropping onion crop should follow the vegetable crop such as cauliflower, tomato and potato, which require large quantities of organic manures. As a winter crop, it follows cereals, groundnut and cowpea, while as a summer crop, it follows paddy. When cultivated as monsoon or late monsoon crop, coriander, French bean, sorghum, pearl millets, chilies and groundnut are planted after harvesting onion. During the initial 5 months after planting sugarcane, onion is grown as an intercrop. Irrigation. Irrigation requirement of onion depends upon the season, soil type, method of irrigation and age of the crop. In general, onion needs irrigation at the time of transplanting, 3 days after transplanting and subsequently at 7 to 10 days interval depending upon the soil moisture. In general, Kharif crop needs 5 to 8 irrigations. The late Kharif crop requires 10 to 12 and Rabi crop requires 12 to 15 irrigations. Onion, being a shallow-rooted crop, needs frequent light irrigation to maintain optimum soil moisture for proper growth and pulp development. Irrigation needs to be stopped when the crop attains maturity and the top starts falling, which helps in reducing the rotting during storage. Excess irrigation is always harmful, and dry spells followed by irrigation will result in the splitting of the outer scales and also formation of bolters. Water loss with flood irrigation is too high and due to conveyance, seepage and percolation losses. Modern irrigation techniques such as drip and micro sprinkler irrigation helps in saving irrigation water and improve the marketable bulb yield significantly. In case of drip irrigation, seedlings need to be planted at a spacing of 10 to 15 centimeter 10 into 15 centimeter in a broad bed furrow of 15 centimeter height and 120 centimeter top width with 45 centimeter furrow. Each BBF should have 2 trips lateral at 60 centimeter distance with inbuilt emitters. The distance between 2 inbuilt emitters should be around 30 to 50 centimeter and the discharge flow rate is 4 liter per hour. In case of micro sprinkler, the distance between 2 laterals of micro sprinklers should be 6 meter with a discharge rate of 135 liter per hour. The research outcome indicated that the drip irrigation at 100% pan evaporation significantly improved the marketable bulb yield with higher percent A-grade bulbs, water saving of about 35 to 40% and labor saving of 25 to 30% as compared to flood irrigation. Harvesting. Onion is harvested depending upon the purpose for which the crop is planted. Onion crop is ready for harvesting in 5 months for dry onion. However, for marketing as green onion, the crop becomes ready in 3 months after transplanting. When the bulbs developing from the leaf bases of onions are fully formed, the leafy green tops begins to yellow and eventually collapse at a point a little above the top of the bulb, leaving an upright short neck. When the tops go down in this way, the bulbs are ready for harvesting because all the onions in a crop do not mature at the same time. Large-scale commercial growers harvest them when about half the tops have gone down. In Kharif season, since tops do not fall, bulbs are harvested soon after the color of leaves changes to slightly yellow and red pigmentation on bulbs develop. Best time to harvest Rabi onion is 1 week after 50% tops have fallen over. Onions for sale as dried bulbs or for storage should be harvested progressively after tops have started falling over. Since onion bulbs are normally formed at the soil surface, it is sometimes possible in sandy soils to pull the mature bulbs by hand. Where conditions make hand pulling impossible, crop is harvested by loosening the bulb with a fork or hoe before lifting them. The harvested crop is left in windrows in the field for a few days until the tops are dry. The windows should be made so that the green tops cover the bulbs to protect them from sunburn. The leaves are cut, leaving about 2 to 2.5 cm tops above the bulb after complete drying. This practice helps to increase the dry matter content. If tops are cut too loose, the neck does not close well and provides entry for decay organisms. Early harvest results in sprouting of the bulbs and late harvest results in formation of secondary roots during storage. In Kharif season, the late harvesting results in doubles and bolting. Yield: irrigated onion crop in Rabi season gives an yield of 25 to 30 ton per hectare, while under rain-fed conditions it yields only about 0.7 to 1 tons per hectare. Onion raised as an intercrop in sugarcane and turmeric in alleys of young fruit garden and banana garden gives a yield of 5 to 9 tons per hectare. The small-sized, pungent and local cluster type onions yields half as compared to the large-sized varieties. Pest and control. First, onion thrips. They are controlled by using resistant and tolerant varieties, by practicing field sanitization, by avoiding successive planting of garlic or other preferred alternate host such as cabbage, cotton, tomato, cucumber, melons, pumpkins, strawberries, etc. By using sprinkler irrigation, as it reduces thrips population. By adding a spreader or sticker for retention and spreading a spray fluid on erect leaves of onion. In seed crop, thrips should be controlled well before flowers open. Second, onion maggot. They are controlled by avoiding close spacing while planting, by following crop rotation and by practicing field sanitization. Conserve predators such as ground beetle, rove beetles, spiders, etc. by providing grassy refuge strips. Third, bulb mite. They can be controlled by avoiding planting successive onions or garlic crops, by flood irrigation as it reduces mite levels in the soil, and by avoiding planting onions after cole crops, as decaying cole crops, especially cauliflower, may harbor very high bulb mite population in the field. Fourth, aerophyte mite. They can be controlled by flood irrigation as it reduces mite level in the soil, or by avoiding planting successive onion or garlic crops. Storage. Onions are stored in a well-ventilated place with a lot of aeration and sunlight. Onion bulbs are packed in perforated gunny bags and stocked in vertical columns, one above the other. However, height of such vertical column should not exceed more than 5 feet and should have sufficient space all around and bottom. In the home, cooking onions and sweet onions are better stored at room temperature, optimally in a single layer in large mesh bags in a dry, cool, dark, well-ventilated locations. In this environment, cooking onions have a shelf life of 3 to 4 weeks and sweet onions 1 to 2 weeks. Cooking onions will absorb odors from apples and pears. Also, they draw moisture from vegetables with which they are stored, which may cause them to decay. Sweet onions have a greater water and sugar content than cooking onions. This makes them sweeter and milder tasting, but reduces their shelf life. Sweet onions can be stored refrigerated. They have a shelf life of around 1 month. Irrespective of type, any cut pieces of onions are best tightly wrapped, stored away from other produce and used within 2 to 3 days. Composition of onion. Nutrients. Most onion cultivars are about 89% water, 9% carbohydrate including 4% sugar and 2% dietary fibers, 1% protein and negligible fat. Onions contain low amounts of essential nutrients and have an energy value of 166 kilojoule in a 100-gram amount. Onions contribute savory flavors to dishes without contributing significant caloric content. Eye irritation. Freshly cut onions often cause a stinging sensation in the eyes of people nearby and often uncontrollable tears. This is caused by the release of a volatile liquid synpropanethyl S oxide and its aerosol, which stimulates nerve in the eye. This gas is produced by a chain of reactions which serve as a defense mechanism. Chopping an onion causes damage to cells which release enzymes called alinases. These break down amino acids, sulfoxides, and generate sulfenic acids. A specific sulfenic acid, 1-propene sulfenic acid, is rapidly acted on by a second enzyme, the lacrimatory factory synthetase, producing the synpropanethyl S oxide. This gas diffuses through the air and soon reaches the eyes, where it activates sensory neurons. Lacrimal glands produce tears to dilute and flush out the irritant. Uses of onions. Common onions are normally available in 3 color varieties. First, yellow or brown onions are sweeter and are the onions of choice for everyday use in European cuisine, with many cultivars bred specifically to demonstrate this sweetness. Yellow onions turn a rich, dark brown when caramelized and give French onion soup its sweet flavor. Red or purple onions are known for their sharp pungent flavor and are the onions of choice for everyday use in Asian cuisine. They are also used raw and in grilling. Third, white onions are traditional in classic Mexican cuisine and are milder in flavor. They have a golden color when cooked and a particularly sweet flavor when sauteed. Culinary uses. Onion powder is a seasoning widely used when the fresh ingredient is not available. It is made from finely ground dehydrated onions, mainly the pungent variety of bulb onions, and has a strong odor. Being dehydrated, it has a long shelf life and is available in several varieties: yellow, red, and white. Onions are commonly chopped and used as an ingredient in various hearty warm dishes, and may also be used as a main ingredient in their own right. For example, in French onion soup, creamed onions, and onion chutney. They are versatile and can be baked, boiled, braised, grilled, fried, roasted, sauteed, or eaten raw in salads. Onions pickled in vinegar are eaten as a snack around the world. Non-culinary uses. Onions have particularly large cells that are readily observed under low magnification. Forming a single layer of cells, the bulb epidermis is easy to separate for educational, experimental, and breeding purposes. Onions are therefore commonly used in science education to teach the use of a microscope for observing cell structure. Onion skins can be boiled to make an orange-brown dye. Last but not the least, I had like to express my sincere gratitude to our teacher, Dr. Prashant Bakshi, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all for your patient hearing.